All right. Hello, welcome to the Balance Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Karen Truesdale-Bierman, and I have Marta here today. Hello, Marta.
Hello.
Can you tell me how to pronounce your last name correctly?
Yes, nobody gets it right. It's a very difficult German name. It's Goertzen. It's like there's no O. Yeah.
Okay, because I would have gotten it wrong.
Yeah.
Goertzen.
Everybody does. Nobody gets it right.
All right. Well, welcome. And I guess just to warm up or just to start out, just tell us a little bit about your business.
This has actually been an interesting year. I've actually rebranded for years, for like about 8 years, I've had two different businesses. I started out as a virtual assistant almost 15 years ago, and then quickly realized that was not for me and focused on WordPress websites. So for the last 13-ish years, I focused mostly on WordPress website consulting and development. But on the side, I've always had, I love publishing and I love using my photography. So I've had a side that part of the business, kind of like a creative. But this year, it just kind of felt this will come up as we talk. I was out of balance. Feel like I was trying to be two different people for two different audiences, and realized in the end both of them were struggling with stress, because I talked a lot about stress management and ways to deal with stress. But so are my web design clients, and I thought, there's something here. So I actually combined it under a new name, SelaStudios.co. And there I help small business owners feel less stressed about life and business. And that comes from web design, that comes from publishing, that comes from my mastermind that I started about a year ago. And it's been great. It's been a lot of work. It's been hard, but I do feel like I'm more me. I'm not trying to split myself into two different people. So that's been a lot of fun. It's been a big challenge.
So it's not that they were inauthentic. It's just that you were pulled in two directions.
Yes.
You're basically into my questions and my whole second season of my podcast, balance for business owners, women in business. So you found that solution.
Absolutely.
Tell me about your mastermind. I did not know until today that you had a mastermind.
It's just kind of, it's something I realized I'd actually forgotten about. I was moving to I was cleaning out an old computer. I went, my goodness, I've thought about starting a mastermind probably 10 years ago, but I never did anything with it. And it started out as about how long ago? We started probably about a little bit over a year and a half ago now. And it's just been very small. It started as an accountability group, but we were getting so much out of it that we said, you know what, we've got something here. So eventually I said, would you mind if I added another person? They said, no, great. That went super well. It went from accountability to really masterminding. I thought, I love this. This is what I want to focus more on this. And I said, okay, guys, do you mind if I add one more person? They said, nope, go ahead. We added one more person. And we did that for several months. And again, it was just, I felt prompted that it was time to open up the doors. So I opened up the doors further, and two more people joined. So now we have, including me, there's 6 of us. And it's something I'll be focusing on more in the coming year. I will be hopefully opening up a second group next year as well.
Okay. And do you all meet virtually once a week, or what's your framework?
Right now we meet every 2 weeks. That may change with the new group, because I don't know that I can maintain that schedule, but I get so much fun out of it and I enjoy the process so much. I'm having a hard time going to more like first and second Thursday of the month, because we just have so much fun. But eventually, right now we meet every 2 weeks. That probably will change once the new group opens. We'll probably meet twice a month. And we've been trying, they're kind of my founding members beta group. So we've been testing different platforms. And right now, because there's so few of us, we've gone back to Voxer, because that way we can just ask a quick question. We can post a link, ask somebody to, the larger the group, Voxer won't work anymore. And I do have another platform that we'll be testing out for the community part.
Okay. Oh, I guess I didn't know that about Voxer. Like what's the ceiling or the limit with Voxer?
It's not a ceiling. It's just that we talk quite a bit. So after a while, it gets harder to follow the conversation. And so once we get more people, we'll probably need to move to a new platform where we can have more threaded conversations. Okay. So, but we've been testing it out. There's just not enough people to create a community on a platform where Voxer is just quick send message back and forth. So 6 of us, that's not a problem. Any bigger than that, then we'll probably have to look at something else so it's easier to follow.
Makes me think of GroupMe, because I've been on GroupMe groups on the app, and it can get
okay.
With some of the groups, if they're too big, it can get to be too many messages. Like, I don't need to follow all those messages, but I don't want to miss something that's
right.
wrong.
Exactly. And that's part of the challenge, because what I've been finding, and again, this goes right along with the questions that you presented. I feel more balanced when I am not in huge groups where I'm just a number. I'm in smaller groups where I can really get to know people, and I feel calmer, they feel calmer. We really build relationships. And sometimes those chat apps just they make you feel like you're missing out, for one, or when they get left in the dust, and then there's no reason to get caught up, because you can't get caught up. So as I've been growing it very carefully, inviting in slowly, and then building it slowly, because I don't want that to be an issue. I want people to feel welcome and part of the group, and not sitting out on the fringes wondering what in the world's going on. So
Okay. Well, tell me about your Take a Break Summit.
Yeah, this is it kind of came out of the rebrand. All of a sudden I got a lot of clarity about what I wanted my business to be. And once I did that, this opportunity came up. I've thought about podcasting. I've researched. I thought, you know what? I don't know that I want to do that long term yet. That's just not something I have the time for. And this format was awesome. It's like a mini podcast season. So this is my second one. Registration opens up this week, actually. The next series launches October 6th. But I invite about 6 people, 5 to 6 people, and we have each mini summit. It's like a micro audio summit. We have a specific theme. So this one is create a restful fourth quarter. So I brought on people who are teaching you how to create simple restful routines to help you manage stress and anxiety. And most of my audience is business owners. So these are really practical tips for people. And it's been great fun. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've met some incredible people. And it's just been, it was one of those things, once I knew what I wanted my business to be, all of a sudden it made, when I saw this opportunity, I actually bought a course to teach me how to do this. And it was an almost instant decision. Yeah, this is the right opportunity, because this will help me build the business that I want to build.
So how would we sign up for October 6th? How does that work?
If you go to takeabreaksummit.com, the wait list is there right now, and then I'll be opening up the official doors this Wednesday on the 28th, on September 28th.
Oh, that's so exciting. I mean, it just sounds perfect. So you can sign up for the summit, but then you also have like interaction with other people, like where there could be trouble.
It's more like a podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, right now I create it's just a one page where you can go in and listen to all the audios. We do have it audio only, so that you can take it on the run with you. A lot of times, as much as I love video can get very tiring, and it's not as easy to take with you on a walk. So a podcast, and I'm working on a way that you can actually add it to a podcast app, so you can even download it to your phone that way as well, and not have to visit to a replay page. I'm not sure if it's going to make it into this summit, but it definitely will be for the next one in January.
Okay, and then you could download it and listen to it anywhere, like on an airplane, or if it's already downloaded, you don't have to be hooked up.
Yeah, so that's the goal. I've found there's a tool out there called Hello Audio that is wonderful, and it allows people to do that. But I knew, for me, with the direction I was taking my business, that the price tag would be prohibitive for me to be able to maintain that long term.
Okay.
And I found, after a lot of research, found with another guy, it's called justcast.com. I love to plug him out. Excuse me. Sorry about that.
Justcast.com.
Right. Okay. And he's been wonderful to work with, and very responsive to my requests, and has customized quite a bit of the app for me. So I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I'm a sip of water.
That's what I get for breathing wrong. Just a second here. I wondered if that would happen. Okay. Just Cast. Yeah, the guy's name is the website is called justcast.com.
Okay, got it.
And it's a great little podcast hosting service. And I started chatting with him through his chat bot. And I said, can we do this? Can you do this? And he said, I would love to work with you on that. So he's been customizing it and we're creating a private podcast function. We're kind of developing what he already had and moving it more into what I needed. And he's just been awesome to work with, and it's a much more affordable rate than with the type of features that I wanted than Hello Audio. So as much as I love Hello Audio, this has been really exciting to work with them and test things out. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons I was so excited about this interview was, I have my questions about balance and being in business, which you basically answered just, talking about yourself, and like in the groups you're a member of and the tribes, because we all need social support. But really got me excited was your pillars, like for your mastermind group, like create Restivity Plan. I just that's terrific. So do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah. Again, this for many, many years, most of my business, I've been in business for almost 15 years this January. I've been a subcontractor. So I haven't had to market really. I haven't had that many direct clients. Well, I've had occasional direct clients and usually for larger projects, but I've been a subcontractor. And so but through the pandemic, a lot of the business that I've been subcontracting for, they changed. They actually stopped doing a lot of the larger and significantly changed. And so I've really kind of been struggling at times trying to find a way to catch up to this new way of thinking about my business. And I realized actually a lot of the work that I've been doing for my website design clients were actually the pillars of a business. I mean, I wanted them to tell me. Yeah, so it kind of brought over from that. And then with the rebrand, it's just amazing. All of a sudden, it became clear. It's like, okay, this is what I've been trying to tell people. One, you need to learn how to rest. Two, you need to really understand what you do and who you do it for. And when I'd have these really cool conversations with my web design clients and also now with my mastermind members, it was really what I enjoyed doing was getting to know them as a business owner and what was their business like. And through that, I got to know their core values, who they wanted to serve, and really help them understand the problem that they serve, because that was all what we wanted to communicate on their website, to draw in the right people. And so this summer, it's been really putting words to all these ideas and put it into a structure. And so these are my 4 core areas is learn to rest, which is creating your Restivity Plan. That's something I've been diving into. It's something I've done for years, but never had a fun name for it. And so Restivity Plan is restful activities. So that's not just about getting more sleep. It's not about taking naps. It really is finding ways for you to rest in your business, in your life, as a mother, as an aunt, as a dog owner. My 2 guys are around here somewhere. If they bark, they'll be around somewhere. Yeah. But that was so true for everybody, no matter what side of the business I was working on, as they needed to learn how to rest. Yeah. And then once you learn, and what I've been hearing, especially from my mastermind members, is once they started those restful practices, it opened up doors to think about their business in a different way. And once they realized that the core, once they got the core of that, then they could start thinking about what are my core values. And the question I always ask is, once you have that list of core values, is that representative to foundation? So I thought, okay, so what is the next step? What have I been talking to my web design clients about? What have I been talking to my mastermind members about? And then it's really getting clear on who you serve. Really getting clear on where they're at. We got on this, and the clearer my mastermind members have gotten on it, and my web design clients, the more confident we become in the next step and saying what we want to say on our websites and in our marketing. And then after that, getting clear on who you serve and the problem that you're solving, it led me to and just for myself in this rebrand this year, is I completely revamped the vision I had for my business, and getting to the point where I was viewing it as, this is the vision I have for business and the role it plays in my life, not the role I play in its. Because it's so easy, especially for those of us working from home, for it to become the end all be all of our day. And I wanted it to turn that scenario around. I said, no, this is the role my business plays in my life. And this is the role I want to play in it, but it's not going to take over anymore. I'm not perfect at that by any means. And it also helped me get clear on doing the Take a Break Summit. That was something I really wanted to do. But it's then on a more advanced level, and it takes a long time to get there, is absolutely. It did once I started putting quite a vision. It was probably really was quite amazing to put it onto paper and to see it visually, and not just think it in the back of my head, oh, I probably should write that down, but taking the steps to write it down. It really was, it was very eye-opening.
I mean, really, you're providing business coaching. Like you're providing so much more than what after fine. Yeah.
Yes. And that's what I love to do. I found that the mastermind is really my passion. People go, oh yes, that's it. Watch them get the clarity and make progress in their business. It's really what drives me. I love it. Yeah. And I'm leaning more into that. And even for my web design clients, I've revamped my packages. So there's a lot more consulting so that I really understand their business more. Because the more I understand your business, the better job I can do on your website.
Right. And you're probably helping them understand their business even better. You know, you're providing clarity for them just by asking questions. I mean, and I run a small business so that I can have flexibility to be a mom, you know, and do some other things. But as an entrepreneur, sometimes we can all get into the place where our business is running us.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Instead of us, we're the ones we're in the driver's
seat making these decisions. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I've been talking a lot lately is that we all have to hustle. Hustle is just a part of life. Yep. Hustle is a part of being a business owner.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah. The danger we get into is when that hustle becomes toxic hustle. And it becomes a never-ending cycle that we can't break free from. And you end up in the comparison trap of, well, that person's doing this, that person's doing that. Why am I not doing that? Or they're looking so successful on social media. Why am I not looking and feeling more successful? And that toxic hustle is where we fall out of balance. And we find ourselves struggling to keep up even with ourselves, because there's just no way. We put such unrealistic expectations that toxic hustle has serious physical, mental, and spiritual ramifications.
Yeah, we're spinning our wheels and not really getting anywhere. And if we pull back a little bit and rested, what are give me some of the ideas for active resting? I mean, do you mean going for a walk, doing a hobby?
Well, yeah, I think it depends on the person. For me personally, and this is one of the questions you had for the podcast, was how do you find balance? And for me, a daily walk with my dogs, getting outside, is on the days that I don't do that, I can tell a difference. I am just there. They have behavior issues.
they're not okay either. They wouldn't let you.
No, they're not
without bugging you.
Oh yeah, they want to go outside more. They get hyper. Yeah. Especially my little girl, she's about 2.5, and if she does not get her daily walk, we know.
Yeah.
But for me, that's how I get the blood pumping in the morning. A lot of times I do struggle with fibromyalgia, and if I don't do that, my fibromyalgia is often worse during the day. So it's a way to get the blood pumping, the cobwebs cleared out. And there's a lot of times where if I've been struggling with a website, why can't I get this to do it? All of a sudden I go, oh, that's why. And I come home back and fix it. So that reading, spending time in my Bible and praying and journaling, that's a big one. And then also photography. Photography, I find, is a very, I was just talking to somebody else and they described it. Well, it sounds like it's a very mindful activity for you. And I said, that's it exactly.
Okay,
It's
so
really
it's almost a
helping me hone
meditation.
in on.
Yeah.
It can be. And I've used it that way. I do what's called, I'll take what I've been calling a photo noticing walk, that I go specifically out to take pictures and to hone in and focus on something small within a big scene. And so I'm walking down the trail with the dogs and I'm taking time to actually look for something to photograph. And so instead of just rushing by and just because we need to get to the end because I need to get back to my to-do list, it's no, this is the time to slow down, breathe deep, enjoy the fact that you're out on this gorgeous forest trail, they're going around a lake. And it may be a trail I've been on many times, but it changes throughout the seasons and it changes depending on the weather. So I take that time to really slow down, and the camera helps me, and pardon the pun, but helps me focus. It helps me focus on what's right on the trail with me. And it's been a very amazing experience to do that. And that's something fun I can go share in my newsletter. I could share in social media. I use a lot of the photography to make, I do a yearly wall calendar. And so I use a lot of the photography from out the year to make that yearly wall calendar. So it's a really good, mindful activity for me, and that I can use it and share it in many different ways, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah. I love that. Because my image of you is walking on the beach in the morning. Cause we've been in mastermind all together at 10 a.m. in Texas and 8 a.m. for you. And that's the image of you off camera. And then when you go on, it's you on the beach. And I'm like, we're all sitting in an office. And then I have enjoyed some of your photography, looking at it. And
oh, thank you.
And I've even adapted that with my blog. Like I'll start out with a picture, and when I blog post, because it just adds something. It's like, oh, what's going to be the next blog post that I'm going to tie with this picture?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times the picture I'm taking will lead to like, oh, well, this will lead to a thought, and so it's a very inspiring project to do. But back to your question, I think a restful activity, I think it depends on the person. For some people that it may be, I used to love to run. I can't really run anymore, but I used to love to run. I found that very relaxing, and it would just, I would feel energized by the time I got back. Very relaxed, but also energized. I don't do that anymore, but hiking or walking is for me. I find it very relaxing and both mentally or we have to go check the tomatoes every day to make sure that they're still ripening, but spending time out my garden and cleaning it up and getting ready for the next season, that for me is a restful activity. But then there's some days I just need to sit down with a cup of tea and just sit there and enjoy the taste, the smell, the warmth from the mug, the experience, and the time of making the tea.
Right.
So there's a lot of different ways, and it depends on what you need that day. Sometimes I'm ready for some peppier music or some rock music, and then other days I just want classical soft music. And so there's just different ways depending on what you need that day, and depending on and really sometimes too, if you're hustling versus toxic hustle, there's even different needs I think you use as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm enjoying a cup of tea right now, and I'm reflecting. I used to love to run, and I can remember when I was in college, that's when I would write my papers or answer questions, and that used to be and now it could be a walk with the dogs or a phone call to a friend, and I play tennis, which is it's strangely relaxing. It requires a lot of focus. Usually relaxing. Yeah,
it is. So, it does. Well, and
it's getting into the zone.
Yeah, well, a lot of times well, and for a lot of us, do need physical rest, but the majority of us, especially as entrepreneurs and small business owners, we need mental rest more than anything, because our brains don't shut off, and it's hard to separate work from life. And so a lot of times what we need is mental breaks and mental rest. And sometimes that is something like tennis or running, where you're getting very focused. Sometimes it's sitting down with a journal and joining a cup of tea even if it's just for 5 minutes, just something to give yourself a mental break.
And I love the idea of planning it, and then there's no guilt with it, like, oh, I should be working. No, I'm planning this rest so that I can better serve my clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I talk about a Restivity plan, I do put the caveat behind it why you must plan, prepare, and schedule it. Because if we're all guilty of saying, well, when I have time, I'm gonna go do that. No, you're never going to find the time. And so you do have to get to your appointment that you've made for yourself. And if you don't have a list of things that um, you possibly could do in a 15, 20, 30-minute chunk of time, you're going to waste half that time trying to figure out what to do and how to just, and you've lost, and then you've kind of defeated the purpose. Right. So I always tell people, come up with a list of, 5-10 things that you could do in 5-10 minutes, whether you could be writing a little note card or postcard to somebody, sending a text to a friend, making a cup of tea, walking around, going and taking the dogs for a quick walk, but have it planned and prepared. So by the time you get to your appointment, you're not wasting that time. You just go to it and you already know what you can do. And it takes a lot of the decision fatigue, a lot of people that we all suffer from, that you've already made a decision. These are the things that I can do. And you don't have to sit there and what am I going to do and feel guilty that you're wasting your time. And so, so planning and preparing, and then, and scheduling it so that you actually do it.
Yeah. That's a good point. Well, any other tips for our audience? You provided a lot of really good information.
Yeah. Start small. It's okay to, whether you're working on your business vision, whether you're working on a big project, whether you're working on a way to put rest back into your schedule, start small. If we try to make it a big grand production, we're not going to do it and we're going to get overwhelmed. And I hear this all the time from my web design clients, from my mastermind. We're jumping ahead to step 10 where we're really on step 1. And so taking the time to start small, and don't despise small beginnings, because little beginnings add up to big things.
Right.
And
the little things matter.
Absolutely. And they can make a difference, even though you think, oh, I'm only doing 5 minutes. Well, 5 minutes is more than you did yesterday. 5 minutes, you gave yourself 5 minutes of a brain break today that you didn't have yesterday. So don't despise those small beginnings, and those small things add up and they can become big things. And as you see the benefits of doing these small things, you will start to find that you want to dedicate more time to it. And so slowly over time, you can add more time to it. And then you're going to make even more progress. And you're going to feel, just to use your word, more balanced, because you're finding what works for you. But start small and take the time. And one of my favorite quotes is from a gal named Laura Casey, and she said one time that rest is an action step. And I've never forgotten that. Rest, rest is an action step. Yeah. One of my favorite quotes.
Very good. Very good. That's wonderful. All right. Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good one.